Skatepark. It's about 45 minutes from Bowdoinham, and obviously a great facility. A little town like Bowdoinham can't really afford to have something this big, but we just want to have something that can get kids interested in skateboarding. And for a lot of kids, and we have many like free and reduced lunch, lower income families, it's very hard to afford transportation to a place like this. So we want also something local that they can hang out with. Skateboarding is a lot of fun for kids that don't necessarily fit into the team sport mold. You don't need a lot of equipment for it, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to get out and have exercise, so we want to have a facility in Bowdoinham. We would love your help in raising some money for it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tom Parker, and this is my wife.
I'm Shirley Parker. And our story with the skateboard park began a little over 11 years ago. In 2004, when we lost our skateboarding enthusiastic son to viral encephalitis, which basically brought this town to its knees. He was a character. He worked at the country store. Everyone knew him. And the day he passed, Tom and I were driving home from the hospital with Christopher, our oldest son, in a state of shock. And I had this vision of this lonely little coffee can covered in tin foil that was sitting on the town office desk one day when I was registering my car. And I remember thinking, oh, like they're gonna build a skate park with nickels and dimes. And I said to Tom, in lieu of flowers, I would like to have donations sent in Matthew's name to the Bowdoinham Skate Park Fund. Called the town manager, he said that would be fine, and so we put that in the obituary. And the outpouring of support and donations was phenomenal. It touched our hearts deeply. So that's how it began. But I want to say thank you to everyone who has already donated. I think I wrote to everybody, I'm not sure. I have a folder with all your names, and everyone that gave, we're so grateful. We're so grateful, because that was part of our being comforted. That was part of the comfort, was this town's response. And people not even knocking, just coming in the house and bringing food. And this sense of this community was very comforting in a time when little comfort could be had. And I felt that when I first went down to the Bowdoinham country store, actually, and I didn't know Marion, and I was pregnant, and we'd just moved here, and I went in and I didn't have enough change, or I didn't have enough to pay for what I was buying. And Marion said, "Oh, it's all right, hon, bring it later." And I'm going, seriously? And I came home and I said to Tom, I said, "I think we found home. I think we found home here." Sad to say, I'd never experienced that in my life, that anyone would say, "Don't worry about it, bring it back, I trust you." So that same sense of community was there when Matthew died for us. So, forever grateful, and we love being part of this community. We love this community.
Well, kids like Matthew, and there are many out there, really need a constructive outlet. And in a town like this, there's not a lot to do. Yes, you can go jump off the dock and swim. You can walk on the new sidewalks. You can go play tennis, but this is a really active outlet, and it's also, it draws kids because it's cool, and it's fun, and it's a little edgy, so they feel like they're able to push the limits a little bit. And I know for Matthew, it would have been, he would have been down there all the time.
And we noticed that even before Matthew really became an enthusiast, his brother was, Christopher. And Matthew liked to do what his brother did. So Matthew got into it. But even before that, there were kids that would be skateboarding in the school parking lot and be asked to leave from there. Kids, when the town hall parking lot was paved, thought they'd found Mecca. They got kicked out of there. One story in particular for Matthew was that he built a ramp for his bike down at the waterfront and jumped it, landed on the boulders, cut his head open, rolled down into the river, and was unconscious and about to drown. And these two lovely women saw it happen, ran down, pulled him out. So the safety issue is paramount to us, as well as having a good place. I mean, you can tell the deck story.
Would you like me to do that now? I had just finished building our lower deck, which is over there, and Shirley and I were off doing something. The boys were home, and we got back to find them leaping off the upper deck onto the lower deck. There were skid marks all over the brand new wood, gouges in the wood. And when I asked them if they'd been skateboarding, they of course denied it. Said, "No, Dad, we wouldn't do that." But why can't we? It's perfect for it. Needless to say, I held firm that the deck was not for skateboarding. And I'm sure they snuck in skateboarding anytime I wasn't at home.
Yes, I was an avid skateboarder. We weren't as creative. We used to pull each other behind bikes and find hills and take half our skin off when we fell because there were no pads or helmets back then. And Tom, skateboarded?
My first skateboard I made by cutting an old style roller skate apart with metal wheels and bolted it to the bottom.
Yep. You still have that somewhere.
I do still have it. It's in the shop. And the dangerous thing with metal wheels is when you go around a corner, they slide. But I didn't ever get anything that landed me in the ER. Lots of time behind bikes and lots of steep hills and lots of bailing out
Hitting
when
rocks.
necessary. But I never knew how to do an ollie or a kickflip or any of that stuff. That came long after my time.
But Matthew would have been into extreme sports. Matthew had and this intense energy and would put himself 100% into anything. He loves snowboarding. I have a great picture of him snowboarding, actually.
And with this new resurgent interest that the young kids coming up now are showing, it's time to give them something to do that sort of makes them more a part of the town. And where it's sited is important too, because that's kind of the heart of the town. And if their place is within the heart of the town, then they obviously will feel more embraced.
Like they're valued, yeah. Well, our teens need to feel part of the town and valued as well. We've got things for the little ones, we've got things for the seniors, but our teens are going to be our adults, and they were our babies, so they need a place. They need to be embraced. I like that.